right, folks. Matt M. Roy back once again. Back to you on a incredibly dreary, rainy, and just altogether unpleasant day here in Southern Virginia. Look at this weather, folks. Look at the wind out there. I mean, this is incredible. Here, I might be able to get you guys a better picture. You can see my Tahoe is completely soaked along with the van over there. We are definitely going to be seeing some thunderstorms today. We've had very warm temperatures, very humid over the last few days. And those of you that know a lot about meteorology probably know that that means you got a lot of pop-up thunderstorms. Unreal. But that is not what this particular live stream is about. So I couldn't think of anything better to do today, and as a matter of fact, I've had to do this for a while. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys what I've been working on and give you guys some top tips on when you're refurbishing your own computers. Now, most of you know by now, I basically sell refurbished computers. I buy them in lots from basically off-lease. How can I? Let me try to rephrase this. My mouth's kind of dry at the moment. I basically buy these computers from distributors that get them from off-lease places, basically businesses that are upgrading to newer systems, and I buy them in bulk. So I get these computers at a fantastic deal. Now, one thing I will tell you when you're doing this, especially when you're buying off-lease computers, you're not always going to get lucky in the sense that you're always going to get the same models. A lot of times I have to settle for various models. So as you can see here, this is actually one I got a while back. This is an HP, what is this one here? Let me move this out of the way so I don't make a mess here. This one doesn't even have a thing on it. I think this is a ProDesk. This is a 4300. Actually, it's an HP Compact Elite 4300. This is one that I got from the distributor, I would say about 2 or 3 months ago. So this one is actually old stock. I'm actually setting this up for a friend of mine whose system unfortunately got damaged. I won't say how. I don't want to embarrass anybody. Let me move my paperwork out of the way. We may lose power, folks. This is really bad. I've noticed the lights blinking quite a bit, so stay with me here. Hopefully we don't lose power because I'm actually doing this through the Wi-Fi right now. But the first tip I will tell you is if you're needing to mount hard drives quickly, the best thing that I found is this double-sided mounting tape. Now, you need to get good quality double-sided mounting tape. This is the one from the Superglue Corporation. And basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put this down here and try to get it as straight as possible. And I'm going to press firmly down with my fist here. And I'm just going to do kind of a rocking motion there. And as you can see, this hard drive is firmly in place. Now, I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. This computer is going to be rebuilt again when I'm done here. Generally, you don't want to use a conventional hard drive this way. I would only recommend doing this with solid state drives, basically because these are a little bit too heavy. But for this application, it'll be fine because I know this computer is actually going to be set on its side like this. So once again, I would never do this normally with a conventional hard drive, but SSDs using that double-sided mounting tape works really well. So let me move this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and slide it down here. This is another system that I picked up from the same distributor. And let me do a quick shout out here to Metro Elevators and Walker's PC Games. Both say hello, Matt. Hello to you. Let me try and clear off some space here on the table, because honestly, I was messy. I know you guys know I am not good at preparing for videos. So let me go ahead and move some stuff out of the way here. There's an old school NVIDIA. How many of you guys and gals remember these? The NVIDIA NVS 300 cards that use that proprietary DMS 59 connector. Oh man, these are a pain in the butt, because mainly you have to find that Y adapter. Basically, you put the DMS 59 connector on here, and it branches out into a Y connector, which will give you two connections, either DVI or VGA. And what's actually really nice about that is it makes it very easy to do dual monitors. So let me go ahead and turn you guys around here for a minute. You guys can see my hair is just going crazy right now. I'm going to put you down just for a second. I need to move this computer up here so everybody can kind of see it. Hope everybody's doing well out there today. If you're here in the Hampton Roads area, Virginia, like where I live, make sure you're staying inside, because the weather is just really, really nasty right now. I'm going to grab a sip of water here. Cheers, folks. All right. Pick you guys back up again. Okay, so this is actually one of the nicer systems that I picked up from this last lot. Once again, these are all off-lease computers that I get in large lots, and by doing that, I average, my price is usually between $30 to $50 per system. Now, that being said, you may or may not find those prices in your area. It just really, really depends. I actually picked up 3 of these. I have 2 that I've actually finished over there. And this is the last one of these computers. Now, this is, and I'm going to try to hide the product key here. This is an HP Compaq 8200 Elite. So this is actually a 3rd gen i-series system. But check that out, folks. This has a 3rd gen i7 3770, not the K, so this is not overclockable. But these are really solid systems, and I try to stick with what we would call enterprise grade or professional grade computers, i.e., the HP Elite systems like this, the Pro desks, the Pro books. And of course the Dell Optiplexes. And generally that's what you're going to find when you get into off-lease systems, because that's usually what they have available. So I'll show you on here. We do have 4 USB ports in the front. These are 2.0 ports. Headphone, microphone, your power button, and this did actually come with a DVD burner. Now, one thing that you'll have to remember, a lot of these enterprise systems may only come with a DVD readable drive or maybe a CD-ROM drive. So that's an expense that you have to factor in if you're going to be doing this kind of work yourself. Coming to the back of this one, fairly standard with the ports. One nice thing, and you don't always see this, generally with the enterprise systems you do though, you get the legacy ports, so you get your PS2 ports in there. Onboard video, VGA. You even get a legacy serial port. How long has it been since you and guys and gals out there have seen one of those? Display port, which you will find more often than not, because that's basically what the professional grade systems use. But there are adapters you can buy on eBay, and I'll show you what one of those looks like in a minute. But basically that converts it to HDMI. Basically, you put the adapter in there and the other end's HDMI. This one you do have 6 USB ports on the back. This does not have USB 3. It's one, and I'm actually surprised because by this point, this is a 3rd gen I series, so you figure this is probably from around 2013, 2014. Most consumer grade systems of that period actually did have USB 3, but I'm just assuming they were probably using an old board for the enterprise system. So unfortunately, you don't get USB 3, but you can buy expansion cards to basically get that, which will go down here into the expansion slots. I'm not even sure what this video card is, but you can see it's using one of those DMS 59 connectors, and you'll find a lot of those in these particular computers. And then, of course, you got old school parallel right there. I'm going to go ahead and open this one up. I think I did. Yep, I took the thumb screw out of that. Go ahead and put it on its side. And inside here, it's pretty standard. I mean, this is a big tower. This is definitely a mid-tower case. You have 4 DDR3 memory slots there. This particular one will support up to 32 gigs. There's big i7 with, yes, a nice size cooler, although you can get aftermarket coolers that are like liquid cooled or the ones that are actually elevated. But this one seems to do the trick as well. Now, a couple of things to note when refurbishing computers. Number one, you always want to take off the cooler and apply new thermal paste, which I have not done on this one, but I'm going to go ahead and try to do that here live for you in a minute. Another thing, you want to go ahead and replace the CMOS battery. That's something people always seem to forget because these batteries, these computers may have been unplugged for a while, sitting in storage units. So you definitely want to go ahead and replace that. And generally, once that's done, I'll go ahead and put the memory in. Basically, when I get these computers, I take all the RAM out and I go ahead and stick it in these nice little containers here. My buddy Jeff, shout out to Jeff, he gave me a bunch of these. I actually need to order some more memory. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this cooler here. As you can see, this uses, I think it's a T15. So a T15 Torx bit. Yep, T15. HP has to be different. I know, folks. It's unfortunate. But you can get these pretty much anywhere. I used to see them in Radio Shack, but I think Best Buy carries them too. So I'm going to go ahead and unscrew these. Now, when you unscrew the coolers, you want to do it diagonally. That is the best way to do it so you don't strip or stress the board too much. Don't forget to pull out the fan connector. 3 or 4 pins, a lot of them, it doesn't really matter, but if you're going to replace the fan, you want to make sure that you need to know if yours is a 3 or 4 prong power connector. Sorry about that, folks. I was getting a phone call, probably going to try to call again, so I'm going to have to cancel that out again. So basically what we got here, got the 4 screws out here, again, catty cornered or diagonally. I'm going to go ahead and pull the cooler off, and as you can see, this old thermal paste has really turned to gunk. I mean, there really isn't anything left there to use, and this is important because this is what dissipates the heat from the CPU itself. So what I usually do, I go ahead and just get myself some tissues, or I'll actually sometimes use some of these Clorox wipes, and very carefully, hang on, folks, got to put you down for a minute. Very carefully, I go ahead and just kind of wipe the thermal paste off here. You don't want to touch the board when you do this, but the nice thing about this is the thermal paste actually stays on the the wipe itself and does not get all over the socket, because that's a big problem when people try to scrape it off. If you've ever seen them do it professionally, a lot of times they'll get the old thermal paste around the CPU, and that causes a lot of problems in the long run. Hard to do this one-handed, folks, but I'm going to do the best I can here for you. So now you can see we got the thermal paste off of there, and is it going to be bright enough? Wow, you know what, folks? I was mistaken. I was told these were all 3rd gen i7s. This is actually a Sandy Bridge. This is a i7 2600. So, yeah, I'll have to talk to my distributor about that, because I was sold the fact that these all had i7 3770s, but not worried about that right now. I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of this thermal paste off here. And while I'm doing that, you guys can maybe look at me here. I'm going to try to prop this up as best I can. There we go, folks. And once again, I'm going to use the same wipe to do this with. And we're just wiping it off. Normally I would show this to you, but I don't want to get it over the computer. I don't want to get any of the old thermal paste in the computer, because that can cause a big problem. And once again, it's going to take a little elbow grease to do this, folks. It really is. This has really been baked on for, well, let's figure it out, about 8 years now, I would say. You want to get off as much as you possibly can. Sometimes I'll use my fingernail to kind of scrape it off. I hope everybody's enjoying this, because this believe me, after a while this gets old. If you want to build muscles, work on computers, because there is so much to do that'll actually help you build muscles over your lifetime. All right. So as you can see, got most of that off, I would say. A little bit on the edge, but that's okay. We're going to go ahead and apply some new thermal paste. So what I've been buying recently, this is Protonix series thermal paste. See if you guys can get a good shot of that or not. This is basically the equivalent to the Arctic Silver. It's just a lot cheaper, and it comes in these tubes here. Oh, so satisfying. I love opening up a new container of thermal paste. And what they actually come with are these little tiny spludger tools here. And that allows you to apply the thermal paste. So let me see how I can do this. Turn you guys around here. Stephen Barber says, computer was made right before Windows 8 release. Very nice system. Perhaps HP is a 2nd gen i7. Yeah, I'm very surprised it was a 2nd gen. Like I said, these were all sold to me as 3rd gens, but nevertheless, you know, it's still a very good system. The Sandy Bridge processor was an excellent processor. So what I'm going to do, go ahead and take a little bit of this. You can see, very, very hard to do this one-handed, folks. All right, I think we're going to have to do this a different way here. Oh, hang on. Let me put you guys down again for a minute. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and stir it up. That's one thing you want to do. You want to make sure you stir it up, because it does separate, especially when it's being mailed to you. And what I like to do, there are a lot of people that argue this point with me, believe it or not. They tell me that you're supposed to apply it to the CPU itself, but I don't like doing that because I have a hard time controlling the amount. So what I actually will do, I will take it and I will apply a little bit right to the heatsink, and you want to put it right in the middle, and you don't need a lot. As a matter of fact, that's a little more than I normally would use. But because this is an i7 and it does create a lot of heat, I'm going to go ahead and use just a little bit more. So at this point, we can go ahead and I'm going to try my best not to make a mess. When you put this on, you want to make sure that you get it centered as much as possible here. So I'm going to go like this. Okay. And once again, once you have it in there, when you're putting this back on, you want to go ahead and do it the same way you took it off, so diagonally. So we're going to start with this screw here. And then we're going to go ahead and put this one in, which is, again, very hard to do one-handed. I wish I had three hands. This is a time that I could really use three hands, or an assistant. An assistant would be good too. And one thing you want to do when you're doing this, you don't want to, I'm getting tongue-tied again, folks. You don't want to tighten it up all the way yet. You want to go ahead and do the caddy cornering. Because you want to make sure that you're not stripping anything here. Let me try to get a little closer so you guys can see. Okay. Okay. So now I have these four in, and they're in there just loosely. I'm going to go ahead and give it one last turn on each one. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And now it should be nice and tight. Now you have new thermal paste applied. One thing you don't want to forget is putting this back on. Now when you put this connector on, you want to be ever so careful. Make sure you don't bend any pins there. I've done them so much, it's like second nature to me now. But yeah, that's it. That's all it is, applying new thermal paste to your CPU. Let's see if we got any questions. William says good afternoon. Good afternoon, William. So we got that on there. The CMOS battery on here now needs to be replaced. So let me go ahead and take care of that. In this case, the video card is kind of in the way, so I'm going to go ahead and try my best to take that out. With these, you have to push these down here, these little clips, and then this bracket folds out of the way, and then literally you can just lift up, and the video card comes out. I would say this is a some type of Radeon, probably like a HD 5550 or a 5450. I'm going to go ahead and put this to the side here. Now, when you take out the CMOS battery, you can actually use a tool to do it. I sometimes use a screwdriver, but with this one, you can see this little tiny clip here. All you should have to do is push it towards you, and the battery itself will come right out. And this is an old school, what is this one here? Okay. This is a JHT battery. And if you really want to get technical, you can grab a multimeter and you can test the current. These are 3-volt batteries, so it should be around 3 volts. And if there is 3 volts still in there, then you could just use that same battery. But just to be safe, I always replace these. It's kind of a best practice thing. And what I've been using lately is these lithium button cell batteries. You can get these from, these actually came from Dollar Tree, believe it or not. They're CR2032s, and these seem to work just fine. But because I'm doing this solo, I'm not going to be able to open this pack. But luckily, I was smart enough to have an extra battery sitting to the side here. So we're going to take this new CMOS battery. When you put them in, you want to make sure that you angle it
towards the back, because you can see these little clips back here. That's what keeps the battery in place. So right now it's kind of sitting up towards that side, and then all you have to do is push it in. And there you go, folks. You've installed a CMOS battery. So these are a couple of things that I always do when refurbishing computers. These are the two main ones that you need to focus on. There is more to it than this, which I'm not going to get to in this live stream. Just not enough time right now, but just giving you guys a rough idea of what I do. Hopefully this helps some people out in the future. Please, incidentally, if you're enjoying this video, give me a thumbs up. That always helps. So what I'm going to do now is bring you guys over here. I want to show you, fumbled. Yeah, one thing when you touch these, you want to be really careful to avoid touching the little card edge on the bottom, because you can actually damage them that way. But I don't really care with this one, because this card is going to be thrown out. I'm going to be replacing it with something much more modern. Okay, so another top tip for you. Again, when refurbishing computers, it'll make your life so much easier if you can get the same models. And not only the same models, but when you get the same models, you want to try to spec them out all the same. To give you an example, I have, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are 7 small form factor Dell Optiplex 7020s. Now, all of these have the exact same processor. These are Core i5 4590s in here. And what I've done to make life easier for myself, I went ahead and, at least in these right here, these 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I went ahead and spec'd them out exactly the same. So they have the same 16 gigabytes of memory, same 500 gigabyte solid state hard drives. And I also put in a 500 gigabyte conventional hard drive, basically for extra storage. I actually have this computer set up right now. Hey, William, if you're watching, buddy, this is your new system. So I'm going to go ahead and show you just how fast this is. I love using SSDs. It's amazing. Check it out, Bill. I'm going to open up Chrome real quick. Look how fast that is. Man, I'm telling you, these SSDs make all the difference in the world. And I'll go ahead and show you guys this. I'll show you guys the specs on this real quick. Boy, I'm kind of clumsy today. All right, so this is got the i5 3470S running at 2.9 gigahertz. This one does speed up to, I think, 3.1, I believe, if it needs to. This has that speed step on it. Also got 8 gigs of RAM in here, and also got a dedicated graphics card. So, Bill, you're all set, buddy. You're going to really enjoy this system. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off for now. And I'll go ahead and hook one of these other computers up. Let's see if we got any questions here. Again, I hope everybody's doing well today. My mouth is so dry. I've started eating these Luma Linda. They're plant-based protein meals, and they're really good because they keep my blood pressure up. I tend to have low blood pressure, but the side effects of that is there's a lot of salt in there, so kind of gives you what people affectionately call cotton mouth. So I'm like constantly having to drink water. It's really a pain, but you know what? If it keeps my blood pressure up and gives me energy, I'll take it. All right. Almost there, folks. Just finishing up. All right. Now I can turn you guys back around here. All right. So coming to the back of one of these particular Dell Optiplexes, Show you the ports here. Once again, you got your legacy ports, display ports there. This actually has 2 display ports for the built-in video, VGA, and these do indeed have super speed USB 3 ports. Incidentally, with the newer systems, they're not always blue, folks, so don't expect to always see blue ports for USB 3. You can see these are actually have a black insert, but they are USB 3.0. So I went ahead and hooked this up. I'm going to go ahead and come around again to the other side. But first, I'm going to take myself a drink of water here. And I did hook this one up. So we'll go ahead and boot this computer up real quick. And once again, these are all the same. These 5 here, the 3 on the bottom, the 2 up here, are exactly the same specs. And that makes it easy because I can pair it with a monitor, a specific monitor, and I can do one listing. Oh, man. Sorry about that. Once again, very, very dry mouth today. And so the way I'll do this is, I'll have these 5 computers and I'll pair them with a similar monitor. So it'll be the same size, 20-inch, maybe 22-inch, haven't decided yet. And I'll go ahead and list them on Facebook Marketplace, and I'll list the quantity as 5. That way, when one sells, I don't have to relist it again. And it just makes things a lot easier in the long run. I don't think I have this plugged in all the way. Let me go back here real quick. Sometimes these don't go in. You got to kind of push these in really hard. Oh, what do we got going on? Technical difficulties, folks. Always happens when you're trying to do a live stream. No? Okay, we'll go ahead and try one of the other systems here. No big deal. I probably have a loose stick of memory or something. That does tend to happen. Go ahead and plug everything in here, and you guys can see how that works. Hopefully you can. Hopefully I'm in the right part here. Go ahead and plug that in. I actually don't need the audio cable, but we'll go ahead and plug that in anyway. And come back around. And let's try to boot this up again. You know what, Devin, this is Devin Whitlock. You want to know something funny, Devin? I actually forgot that it was Father's Day. Well, I didn't forget. I actually had, oh, hang on. Oh, just upgrade the memory. I actually was told by my mother that Father's Day was next week. So we went to church, and I went ahead and found out then that it was Father's Day. So I actually on the spot, I made up a little speech for Dad, and we're going to actually celebrate Father's Day next week. All right, what do we got going on here? Is this one that I did not refurbish, or I probably don't have the boot sequence set? Boy, folks, I'm telling you, this is not becoming my day. Oh, I know why. I know why. This is the one I didn't finish yet. So hang on once again, folks. We're gonna figure this out here because this is starting to get frustrating right now. I literally just finished with these, so let's try the third one. And once again, you're always, I don't want to say always, but occasionally you're going to have technical problems like this, even after you work on the computers. So one good thing to do is always have a spare. I'll always keep one of the systems that I get in as a backup, just in case a customer comes back and says, look, my system stopped working. And it's always a good idea to give a little bit of a guarantee too, folks. I mean, you want to have you want to be in good standing with people. You want to be honorable. You want to do the best you can. And that's why I always give at least generally, depending on the computer, how old it is, a guarantee. So I'm going to go ahead and turn everybody around here one more time. And this one came up. So this one, I think the video card got loose. This is one that I didn't finish yet. So once again, I'm going to go ahead and I booted this one up. And as you can see, show you the specs on here real quick. Got the Core, let me see if I was right here. Yep, Core i5 4590 running at 3 gigahertz with 16 gigabytes of RAM. And the SSD of choice that I've been using a lot lately is the PNY CS900, which is a 500 gigabyte solid state hard drive. Very, very good drive, has very, very good benchmarks. Actually, I can do that for you right here. We'll go ahead and use Crystal Disk Mark real quick. So we're on C drive. I'll go ahead and click all. And while we're running that, let me see what we got here. Classic Mobile Home says hi. Happy birthday from the 19th of June. Once again, if you are enjoying this video, please give me a like. That helps me get higher on the YouTube algorithms and it'll help promote my channel. I've got 12 watchers here right now. Sam Hodgson said, managed to pick up 2 HP Elite desks with i7 7770s for 120 pounds with NVMe SSDs. Definitely worth keeping an eye out on eBay for systems that can be refurbished. That is a good point, but you're right, it is a little bit of a gamble on eBay, mainly because you're not actually physically seeing the computer in person. But as you can see, we're getting some pretty good benchmarks here. We have a read of 545, and I think that's sequential if I'm not mistaken. The other one is non-sequential, but still 459 or 429 is very good. And for the read speeds, that's actually, if I'm not mistaken, that's actually faster than the box says that this SSD is supposed to perform. Let me see if I have one of those. Let me run into my closet real quick. Everybody's going to see how messy it is anyway. It's actually not too bad, folks. I just got to kind of rearrange some things here. So these are the ones I buy. These actually come from Walmart. And let me see if they're even boasting the speeds. Okay, so sequential read of 550 and sequential write of 500. See, the older ones, the generation before this, it was a sequential read of 480 and a sequential write of 520. So they actually changed that up. So it's interesting to know. So both you can get up to 550. So we're actually getting pretty close to that right now. I mean, we're talking 545, 48. So, man, that's actually really good. And I get these at Walmart. These are the 500 gig ones. They cost about $50. And I think you can get the 250 gig ones for about, I want to say they're like $34.99. Depends. You always want to look out for deals. And the one thing I really like with these, they actually not only come with the transfer cables, you can transfer the files from your old computer's hard drive to your new one. It also comes with a version of Acronis, or Acronis. I'm not even sure I'm saying that right. I think it was Acronis. There you go. To basically help you transfer your files to the new computer. So this is really an entire kit that would allow a novice, if you will, to be able to transfer their files from their old hard drive to their new hard drive. So definitely keep a lookout for those. Really, really good deals on those. But as you can see, we actually have a write speed, believe it or not, of 526 megabits per second. And what did this boast? I already forgot. Okay, so basically, as you can see, that's better than it boasts here, because it says it boasts a sequential write of 500 megabits per second, or up to, as they would usually say. But as you can see, this is actually writing even faster than that, and it's one reason I absolutely love these drives. Devin Whitlock asks, Matt, would you trust buying a used SSD from eBay with Windows 7 or 10 on it? Yes, I would. However, when you get that drive in, if you're buying it to not only have the drive but to have the Windows installation, you're probably going to have issues getting Windows to activate with that old installation. So if you buy it, make sure you buy it for the drive itself, not the Windows installation that's on it. And it's very easy to reinstall Windows on a computer. All you really need is a USB flash drive. And you go and you actually download something that's called the Media Creation Tool. And I could show you guys that in just a minute, but basically you can see all of the write times there. Also very good. Wow, look at that. 470. So actually, what is this one? I don't remember off the top of my head what these all are, but the different sequentials, and then you have the non-sequential. You could see that 470, it's actually faster writing than it is reading. So I'm just going to say it one more time. Those are awesome drives. I'm going to have to let you guys go here in just a minute because I have not actually eaten my lunch yet, and you can see it's way past 3 right now. But I'm going to go ahead and show you real quick. So if you want to make your own bootable Windows 10 installation flash drive, all you need is a blank flash drive, and you basically go online, and you can do a quick Google search. We'll bring it up here, and it's called the Media. I do Windows 10 Media Creation Tool. You guys can see it right there. And all you basically have to do is click that link. And what I do is I go to Download Tool Now, and it's going to go ahead and download it. And then once you download it, you just open it up, and you want to follow the instructions. And I'll go through it really quick before I have to let everybody go. But basically, you follow the instructions, go ahead and click Next when everything's ready. Might take a few minutes here. Actually, I can do it real quick because I think I do need to update the Windows installation that's on this drive. So I'm going to go ahead and plug that in real quick. So from here, you want to go ahead and accept the terms. And again, it's going to get a few things ready. Typical Windows has to always do that. Boy, it's awkward using the mouse left-handed, but I'm getting better at it. And at this point, you can actually go ahead and close the browser if you want. So what's important here is when you see what do you want to do, you want to go ahead and click Create Installation Media, and then go ahead and click Next. And at this point, you want to go ahead and uncheck this here that says Use the recommended options for this PC. You want to go ahead and uncheck that, and then generally this is what you're going to use. You're going to use English language, unless of course from another country, Windows 10, and then the 64-bit version. So from here we'll go ahead and click Next, and you want to go ahead and use the USB flash drive. So again, I'm going to click Next on that one. And in my case, I only have one plugged in there, which is the E drive. But if you had multiple drives, you might see more than two. And you go ahead and choose the drive that you want to use. So we're going to go ahead and click on it. And I'm going to go ahead and click Next again. And that's it. At this point, it does everything itself. Takes maybe about 5 or 10 minutes. And when it's done, it'll just say thank you, and you pull the drive out. And then all you have to do is put that drive into the computer you want to install Windows in, boot from it, and you're all done. All right, folks, that is it. I need to go. I haven't had my lunch yet. I am starving. Thank you for joining me on this live stream. Please continue to like and subscribe. Bill, I will call you as soon as I end this. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.